Okay, welcome to another episode of Zwifts. This one we're doing ZRacing on Gentil 8, one of the French routes. So starting off, went into this with I think the Zwift steel, so I just had to change my bike before we left the starting pens. Onto the tarmac SL8, which I think is still the fastest, best in slot bike for the game. So you'll see me there chatting away to what I thought was my microphone, but for this recording I had the wrong mic selected, so I'm doing a wee talk through it, commentate you through it, rather than put you through another video of garbage audio. So the course today, so the Gentil 8 course, 25.8k, mostly flat, some kind of rolling S-bends and stuff. But the main tricky point is the Petit KOM, you'll see in the middle of the route profile at the top right. So that's going to be like 2.7k, just under 3k climbing, around 4% gradient. So that's going to be the tough part for me, I think, in this race, trying to stick with the better climbers, make sure I don't get dropped, and then I should do pretty well on the descent if anybody does manage to break away. And speaking of breakaways, yeah, so we've got a couple of riders that have been out front for a couple of k, a few minutes worth, but we're gradually kind of rolling them back into the pack. It's a long race to be trying to break away from the pack in these KA Range 2 races. There's just too many talented riders going at a fast pace that breakaway is really going to be a big ask for anybody. And with that, we're all back together for the Petit KOM, the climbing section of this route. So a few riders have fell out the back from the peloton, but the breakaway attempt, there's 5 or 6 riders, we've reeled them in before we get into the climb. So I'll just play this out in normal speed. We've got 2.7k to climb, 4% balances out on average. Some of the orange segments here I think about 7 or 8% gradient, but a lot of this climb is very draftable, so you don't want to be out front. Going up here, you probably just want to still be sitting in a pack, making sure you're not falling too far behind. So about halfway up the climb now, and heart rate's looking good at 165 beats per minute. You'll see one of the friends I ride with in the kind of blue glow here, DQ5 Studios. That's a good friend Ben from the Tribe Discord. He's a great climber, so we're both around the same kind of racing category. So I've been trying to keep pace with him, keep the same wheel for much of this. I know he's, as I was saying, he's a great climber, so if I keep up to speed with him, I know I'll be in good company. So going into this next orange segment of the climb, we've got one rider out in front. You'll see a lot of guys popping their feathers here. It's perfect timing to be using that really, as we're coming towards the end of the climb. I've been holding on to my feathers since the first banner, the first sprint banner that we went underneath very early in the race, at least over 10 minutes ago. But I failed to deploy. I should have really used it there. I was thinking about it, I think in my head. I maybe overestimated the final chunk of this climb. I'll pop it when we get into this next orange segment, just after it evens out a wee bit here. Just over 5 minutes for the climb, 5 minutes 16. Super happy with that. It's pretty good going, and straight into the downhill. I've only got one rider out front, which we swiftly closed down here on the descent, taking turns at doing super tucks, getting recovery, and the collective kind of pace of the pack here is really too high for anybody to do any individual breakaways. So just using this time to recover. Going into the intestines section of this route, the S's. You can guess why it's called intestines if you look at the profile map at the top right. But these turns, these curves on the map, I'm using the steering and the new Zwift click controllers just to lean into the apex of each corner, and it's really effective at getting me from the back of the pack right through the front. Very minimal effort. You do miss out on some of the draft when you do that, so just make sure you're not too far behind and you're travelling at a decent speed before you attempt it, but really effective if you're trying to skip a few places ahead in the pack. Moment of stupidity here for me. So I saw one of the riders in front of me was using their draft van, the power up, and I've responded by clicking mines before the banner. Now, the draft van's going to be the best power up to utilise for the final sprint of this route. So ideally, I wanted to keep hold of it, and I was worried about rolling a feather. But I've been fortunate in this time that even though I used it up too early, I did roll another draft van with the power up banner there. Yeah, so we've got one rider popping his draft van. That makes me react to pop my draft van a lot earlier than expected. 1.1k to go. That's not ideal. So I'll get like 15 riders in front of me. So draft van's popped. I've only got half of that power up left. And then I realise I need to start making the the most of this power up. So out of the saddle, start bumping some watts, using the draft as long as I can, and then giving it full gas here. Full licks, giving it all the beans I can. 10, 11 watts a kilo with yeah, half a K to go, and all the time just watching the distance I've got behind me. Can't really see the distance markers at the bottom of the screen, so, and I'm the same when I'm watching this in my view, so I'm just watching the timer on the right hand side. Yes, I'm fucking clear, and I'm pleased with that one. That was a good win in my opinion. Cat A, range 2, over the moon. Compose yourself, man. What's your like?
Yes. Back.
Good to be back. Getting a win. Getting a podium, you know. That's what I'll ask for these races. Podiums are the aim. Especially in this range 2. I'm usually happy with a top 10, but podium, win, yeah, that's really pleased to do. So that's going to finish my racing for 2025. Happy to be finishing that on the win, and I'll be back in 2026. Happy New Year, guys.
Next one, let me be. There you are. Yes.